This is one of my favorite skincare studies we discussed this year, and it's about realistic sunscreen application and layering. This is going to be a two-parter because there's a lot of good things to talk about. Now, it's end of the year, which means we're reflecting back on some of our favorite moments and favorite studies we've discussed in 2025, and we've discussed a lot of studies. Korean beauty giant Amore Pacific did a study back in 2021 trying to answer the question that we actually have a really hard time answering, and that is what happens when you apply products like a real human being and you actually layer products over sunscreen. Now, the study is small, only 14 subjects, and done in Korea, so non-US filters here. The four products used are an SPF 50 sunscreen, which also includes Tinazorb S and DHHB, an SPF 50 plus cushion foundation with TiO2, an SPF 15 liquid foundation with octinoxate, and an SPF 15 mineral compact powder. Now, this is about sunscreen application, which means we have to discuss the application method. In this test, they applied one layer of each product, allowing it to dry on skin for 15 minutes and then irradiate skin with UV light to get an accurate, effective SPF value. The cool part about this study is that instead of just following the standard 2 mg per centimeter square rule that's used in standard SPF tests, they actually wanted to compare that with a more realistic amount. So you can see that the participants actually also used just 25 to 50% of the standard rule to mimic real life application because we all under apply. Probably want to pause and take a look at this chart that compares the results, but if you take a look at even just the sunscreen, you apply half the amount of their SPF 50 fluid, you're only going to get an SPF of 19. For cushion foundation, they only apply 35% of the recommended amount, achieved an SPF of only 10. Now keep in mind, it's a small sample size, but this paper actually tries to give us a more realistic picture of what happens when we under apply. Because let's face it, most of us still do, especially when it comes to makeup SPF. These formats make it incredibly challenging to apply the actual sunscreen standard amount since you're trying to balance pigment payload and sunscreen. So food for thought. But what happens when you layer these products on top of each other? I'm covering SPF layering tomorrow, which they also looked at in the study, so buckle up.